Episode 25, No lunch? Oh, you haven't finished your work? Nanshen put down his coffee as he looked at the miserable doggo on the floor. It's... Tanhua began to sweat when Nanshen asked her the question she didn't want him to ask. She haven't finished her work, but she wanted to have lunch. Ah, you haven't? Then you gotta continue working until you finish. No taking a break before you finish it all. Nanshen smirked as he went back to his own work. This is his punishment for this disobedient doggo. That would be very torturing to not have a lunch break and have to finish the work instead. Haha. Let this be a lesson to not mess with him. Humph. He still hasn't forgiven that doggo for nearly killing him with a necktie. Boom. Hearing Nanshen's words, Tanhua felt like her world crumbled apart. She felt like she was suddenly transmigrated to a zombie apocalypse novel. No! Her lunch. She would die without her lunch. Tanhua clutched her stomach dramatically as she grumbled, cursing Nanshen to death. Hoof. Boss Nan is so mean. How could Boss Nan not let her take a rest first? Who can finish that many documents in just an hour? No one. Tanhua originally wanted to whine to Nanshen and use her pitiful face attack so she could have lunch, but looking at Nanshen's serious face, she suddenly didn't dare to. What if she whined and protested, then Nanshen gave her a bigger punishment? That would be bad. Hahoo. Let's finish this as soon as she can then. Hope the cafeteria still has food left after she finished her work. Tanhua sat again on the floor with a plop sound and began to sort the documents with a rumbling stomach. Tap, tap. Boss Nan, what do you want for lunch? Wu Yin, who was about to get his lunch, approached Nanshen to ask him about his order. Usually, Nanshen would ask him to reserve a restaurant near the office and get there when they're on lunch break. Nanshen raised his head as he sneaked a peek at the miserable doggo on the floor and paused for a second before answering Wu Yin's offer. I'm busy now. I'll have lunch later. This answer made Wu Yin taken aback for real. He was Nanshen's secretary, so he knew for sure Nanshen's habit. All this time, Nanshen never delayed his lunch just because he had unfinished work. For him, his health was the most important, so he would never skip his lunch break. Usually, at this time, Nanshen would already have driven away to his favorite Italian restaurant near the company. What's wrong with Boss Nan today? He said he will have lunch later? Usually, he would always be on time regarding his lunchtime. Right at 12 p.m. in the afternoon, Boss Nan would leave his work right away to have lunch. Is this a sign of apocalypse coming near? Otherwise, how could that Nanshen make a weird choice like this? I understand. I will go now. Wu Yin, even though he was itching to interrogate Nanshen, held back his tongue as he asked for permission to leave. Well, if Boss Nan didn't want to eat yet, then it's fine, but he was feeling hungry and had to eat now. The company cafeteria would soon be getting crowded. He didn't want his favorite menu to be out of stock. Go ahead. With Nanshen's short permission, Wu Yin left the room, leaving only Nanshen and Tanhua alone again, for the 9th time. The room suddenly fell into a deep silence. The only sound that could be heard was the sound of Nanshen typing with his laptop, along with the rustling sound of the paper Tanhua held. The two of them didn't talk at all as both had their own work, but actually, both of them suddenly felt restless because the other party didn't say anything. Tanhua went like, why the hell didn't Boss Nan go with Wu Yin? She thought he would go there so she would relax alone in the room. Now that Boss Nan remains here, she suddenly felt self-conscious again. While Nanshen went like, why the hell was that doggo so silent now? Usually, that doggo would chatter or blabber about useless things to keep the atmosphere good. Yeah, even though he kind of felt annoyed by this doggo's chattering. But now that the boy suddenly went silent, it felt awkward, like it was even scary for him. This uncomfortable silence between them would kill him sooner or later. Say something, doggo. Just anything. Even complaining is also okay. It is still better than saying nothing. He felt awkward for no reason, you know? In the room, beside the sound of Nanshen typing and the rustling paper, there was only the sound of the clock running like tick-tock, tick-tock, making the atmosphere even more awkward than before. Nanshen was itching to make Tanhua speak, while Tanhua was itching to make Nanshen leave. Actually, Nanshen himself had planned to go have his lunch leaving Tanhua behind to finish her work, but when he saw how Tanhua was diligently doing her punishment with that gloomy face, he felt guilty. Why the hell he felt guilty? He just suddenly felt guilty if he left Tanhua alone and went having his precious lunchtime. He felt like this would surely make Tanhua feel lonely. So in some kind of sudden impulse, he decided to remain here until Tanhua finished her work. Only then, he would ask Tanhua to buy him a meal. But now, he felt like he had made a wrong choice. Lonely your ass. Look at that boy. Was he going to feel lonely if he left him alone? He bet that boy wouldn't feel so. He forgot that this boy in front of him actually wanted to leave his sight for every single second. He should have known that the moment it was just the two of them alone, they became awkward, for no reason. This boy is just a normal office boy. Why would he feel awkward for no reason like this? Even when he was with Mishu, he never felt awkward whatsoever. It's weird. Thus for about 1 hour, Nanshen worked on his unfinished work while occasionally stealing a glance at Tanhua's working figure, while Tanhua too would occasionally steal a glance at Nanshen, wondering when would Nanshan leave. 13 p.m., 1 hour after lunch break. Damn. I have finished all of these. Tanhua crawled on the floor, looking like a hungry zombie as she approached Nanshan's desk. Really good boy. Nanshan closed his laptop as he squatted down to pat Tanhua's head. Finally, this doggo had finished his work. But it's 1 p.m. now, the lunch break has ended. Nanshan shook his head in disappointment as he went back to his chair. Oop, this is the first time he skipped lunch, and this was all because a single pitiful doggo. What? Then, I can't eat lunch? Tanhua stood up as she slammed Nanshan's desk out of shock. Really? Lunch break had ended? Yeah, so you gotta keep working. Now, buy me a meal. Nanshan waved his hand lazily and started to order Tanhua around. He was so damn hungry. What? Boss, I can't eat, but then you want me to buy you food? Tanhua's voice was shaking while she pointed her finger at Nanshan's nose, looking extremely pale. Yeah, you have to go back to work, which is being my slave while I'm the boss here. I can take a break whenever I want. Nanshan slapped away Tanhua's finger, which was pointed right at his nose. This doggo became more and more rude, didn't he? What do you want, boss? Tanhua clenched her teeth while gripping her fist tight. It can't be helped then. Boss's command is her responsibility, not her wish though. Buy me a normal bento from the cafeteria. Nanshan gave Tanhua the money as he urged her to leave. Actually, he never ate food from the cafeteria, but since he was asking Tanhua, he had to comply. Grab. Tanhua could only snatch the money as she stomped her feet and dragged her tired body to the cafeteria. 10 minutes later, clack, clack, Tanhua came back to the room with Wu Yin, who also had finished his lunch break. Tanhua quickly approached Nanshan and put down the bento she just bought on Nanshan's desk with quite a loud thump. Here it is. Tanhua powdered her cheek as she quickly averted her eyes from the bento. Damn it! That looks so delicious. Without saying anything, Nanshan quickly ate the food right in front of Tanhua while pretending to feel that the food was delicious. Heh. It is torturing, right, to see someone eat when you're hungry? Serve you right. Actually, Wu Yin, who was watching from afar, couldn't help but feel ashamed. Since when did Boss Nan become this childish to provoke an employee using a mere bento food? Boss Nan never ate bento before. There's no way he thought it would be delicious. But Nanshan's method worked really well on a certain doggo. Tanhua had even started drooling over Nanshan's bento as she looked at him with pitiful eyes. You could even see her wagging her tail shamelessly, exactly like a dog wanting to be fed. Nanshan actually didn't feel like he could finish the bento, so when he saw how Tanhua was looking at him with that pitiful doggo attack, he gave up easily. Here, you can eat some. Nanshan purposely gave his leftover as he thought there's no way Tanhua would want it, but he underestimated Tanhua's thick skin. With a swoosh, Tanhua snatched the chopsticks from Nanshan's hand along with the box, and the next second, hop. She took a big bite using that very same chopstick Nanshan used.